Hello everyone, this is Darshini, and in this video we are going to be talking about how to handle your mind in order to be able to achieve anything. Make sure you watch this video completely because in the first half of this video we will be discussing about a concept, and in the second half of the video we will be discussing about how exactly you can apply this to your real life and handle your mind to be able to achieve anything. Only if you watch the video completely, you can understand what I'm trying to say as a whole and also be able to make the most out of the video. So, let's get started. Let's say this is how things actually are and this is how your mind sees it. The way your mind sees it does not always have to be the same as how things actually are. This is because most people see things through a colored lens of their own perspectives. And different people have different perspectives. And the way your mind sees things depends upon the colored glass that you're wearing, which is your own perspectives. That's why the way your mind sees things is not always the same as how things actually are. For example, have you ever experienced this scenario where you try to say something to somebody but they understand it in a completely different way from what you were trying to say? If yes, then it's because people see and hear what other people say depending upon their own perspectives as opposed to how you are actually trying to say. We too do this mistake of hearing what people say through our own perspectives. It's because we sometimes just blindly accept our perspectives as the truth. Sometimes we don't even realize that we are talking from the eyes of our own perspectives, which is not always the truth. Now, let's look at another example to understand this concept better. Let's say A and B are two strangers who are having a superficial conversation of what each other is doing in their lives. Let's say A tells B that he goes for a job and B tells A that he runs a business. And the conversation just ends there. Now, let's look at how things actually are and how the other person looks at it. First, let's take A. A is absolutely happy with his job and he's also very happy with himself. Now, B has an opinion on job goers that nobody loves their job and job goers always are trying to get rid of their job and start a business. So basically, B thinks that A is not happy with himself. But the truth is, A is very happy with himself. This is happening because B is looking at A through the eyes of his own perspectives as opposed to how he actually is. Similarly, B loves his business and he is doing it with the intention of serving people with high quality products. But A does not have a good opinion about business people. So, A doesn't look at B as he actually is, but he looks at B through the filtered lens of his perspectives. This is happening because A is looking at B through his own perspectives and B also is looking at A through his own perspectives. So, how are these perspectives formed? Perspectives are formed by our own past experiences, other people's experiences, what we see and hear from the people around us, the content we consume, the belief system we have, etc. Now, let's look at why these 5 things don't always allow us to look at things as they really are. One is our own past experiences. For example, let's say that you failed in a business in the past. This does not mean that you will never be successful in the future or that business is not meant for you. It sometimes just feels that way because that's what you've experienced in the past. But as long as you don't make the same mistakes that you've already done in the past, there is a high chance that you will be successful in the future. So make sure that your past experiences are not blocking you from moving forward. Number two is other people's experiences. Let's say that a technique or a strategy has worked for a person. That does not mean that it will also work for you. See, everybody is unique. Different people have different talents, and what comes effortlessly to each and every person is different. Whether something will work for someone or not depends on so many factors. So, just because something works for someone, that does not mean that it will be suitable for you. And another important point to note here is that if something doesn't work for some people or many people, that does not mean that it won't work for you. Who knows, it could work out just for you. So, don't be carried away by other people's experiences. Don't come to conclusions about whether something will work for you or not based on other people's experiences. Next is what we see and hear from the people around us. See, people speak from their own experiences or from what they've heard from others. Basically, it's what they believe to be true or what might have worked for them. That truth that others believe in, which might be suitable for them, might not actually be suitable for you. So, you need to figure it out for yourself. If you think that you've got to make a lot of mistakes to figure everything out yourself, then yes, you have to go through all those and be willing to make all those mistakes and learn for yourself. Only then you can find what is specifically suitable for you. There can be a general concept of this is good and that is bad, but to know what is specifically good and bad for you, you need to go through the process and find it out. Next is the content we consume. Never believe anyone blindly. That does not mean that you don't trust anyone or keep looking for evidence in order to believe something. What I'm saying is, always experiment things and find things out for yourself. Never have this idea of, if this person says something, it will definitely be correct. This does not mean that you don't trust them. What they are saying might be suitable for them, but you are going to experiment to find whether that's going to be suitable for you. See, the person who is advising you might have very good intentions for you. But what if what they know and tell you is not suitable for you? Things can be good in general, but what about specifically for you? Everybody's journey is unique. You need to walk the path to really find out whether something will work out for you or not, and what is suitable for you. Next is the belief system we have. And belief system is formed by the 4 topics that we just discussed. From this, it can be observed that it's the perspectives that you formed that are blocking you from looking at things as they are. Perspectives cause confusion, and confusion leads to overthinking. What we generally observe in our lives is confusion and overthinking, which are consequences of the root cause, which is the perspectives. So, instead of trying to mess around with the consequences, it's better to handle it at the root. So, to understand how this can be done practically, let's use an example. Let's say that you're having a conversation with your friend. Let's suppose that you're discussing about your dreams with your friend. And your friend tells you that, how do you think all these are going to be possible? Is it even practical? Are you crazy? Etc. Now, when anyone hears such things, the general reaction would be to get angry on your friend that he or she is not encouraging or supporting you for your dreams. But here's the thing. Just because someone has negative perspectives or don't have a clear view about how things actually are, that does not mean that they are a bad person or anything. It is simply their perspective. The main point here is that you should not get affected by others' perspectives and also not get angry or form any negative opinion about them. This is because if you create any type of negative emotion towards someone, the first person to get affected is you. So, rather choose to understand them that they are just talking their point of view. A view is a view and a perspective is a perspective, which is not necessarily the truth. So, simply listen to your friend with the realization that he or she is talking from the filter of his or own perspectives. And perspectives are not always the truth. When you just quietly keep listening with this realization, you also won't get affected by this conversation, and your friend will also not keep talking too long. This is because you're not trying to explain your friend that you're right or trying to resist what your friend is saying. So, your friend will also soon forget this conversation and not really get affected by this conversation. So, it's a win-win scenario. Similarly, when your mind tells you something, realize that those thoughts are coming from the filter of your own perspectives and not the truth, which is as things really are. Look at your mind like the friend in the example that we just discussed. Don't engage or involve with the thoughts that don't serve you. Don't try to resist it and remove the unnecessary thoughts because that is a counterproductive action. See, you are not your thoughts, words, and feelings. You are the observer. This yellow line represents you, which is the observer, and these two white lines represent your mind. And these orange dots that you see in between represents your thoughts, words, and feelings that flow through your mind. So, thoughts, words, and feelings are the ones that flow through your mind. They are not you. You are the observer. So, don't get identified too much with your thoughts, words, and feelings as you. Let's say that the thoughts that you don't like are flowing through your mind. In this case, there are three possible responses. One is to be neutral about it and just let it be. Two is to distract yourself and escape away from it. And three is trying to control these thoughts. Now, let's look at the consequences of these responses one by one. First, let's start off with distraction. This concept can be understood better with the help of a pendulum. So, when the thoughts that you don't like are flowing through your mind, if you try to distract yourself, it is like you moving away from your thoughts. In the case of the pendulum, it is like moving the pendulum towards one side. So now, this pendulum is currently in an unstable state. So, one can hold this position only until there is distraction. Once the distraction is over, these thoughts will come back with more force. This is because if you pull a pendulum towards one side and leave it, it will revert back to the opposite direction with a greater force. That is why the more you distract yourself and the more you push those thoughts away, the more the thoughts gets intensified and comes back to you. So the second response is trying to control your thoughts. Trying to control a thought is like holding on to a thought and not letting it go, but expecting it to go away. So, both distraction and trying to control the thoughts are forms of resistances. So, in both cases, the pendulum gets pulled towards one direction. And both these states are unstable. When an object is at an unstable position, it always tries to come back to its equilibrium or the stable state. But in this case of trying to control the thoughts, the more you try to control, the more you lose control. Now, the third response is to neutrally observe your thoughts and not involve or engage with those thoughts. Neutrally observing the thoughts is like being at the equilibrium position, which is the stable state. In this state, there are no back and forth oscillations, which is the main cause of thoughts getting intensified and aggravated. So by neutrally observing the thoughts, you are allowing the thoughts to freely flow through you. See, only when you try to resist, the situation of you fighting with yourself happens. And this complicates the issue rather than reduce it. So, let the mind do its talking. You just simply listen to it with the realization that these words are coming from the limited perspective of the mind and just be neutral about it. Remember this, your reality is shaped by where your energy flows. When you're neutral about something, your energy doesn't flow towards it. So, whatever it is that you're observing won't affect you. But if you're positive or negative, or you're too attached to something, or you're totally trying to get rid of something, then your energy starts to flow towards that direction and starts to shape your reality. So, how do you avoid or remain unaffected by your own mind or external influences? Be neutral towards it, not positive or negative. Now, let's look at how you can practically use this technique to achieve your goals easily. Let's say that you have this dream of becoming a world-class musician. Now, when you come up with this idea, your mind, with its limited perspective, will look at it and form thoughts of doubt, negative emotions, etc. Now, how do you respond to the situation? Remember that these thoughts are coming from the filtered lens of your perspectives and not the truth. Next, just neutrally observe the thoughts and calmly let the thoughts to flow through you and keep working towards your dreams. As you practice this over time, your mind will become stiller and stiller. And with this, your ability to see things as they are will keep increasing. So in conclusion, don't believe everything that your mind says. Calmly keep moving towards your target with the realization that you are the creator of your reality and that the way your mind perceives things might not be the way how things actually are. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I really hope that this video was valuable for you. Hit the like button if you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you choose to improve the quality of your life and achieve your goals smoothly. And see you in the next video.